Yeah, I waited a little bit longer before I actually made my Raw review, and I'm shocked that I'm actually making one because I know I haven't made one in a while. And yeah, that is Doctor Who in the background. But other than that, y'all, making this clear about this Raw, good grief, was it exhausting. It was really difficult to try to get through it, but I'm not gonna lie. There were some promos as well as some segments that were absolutely great, and most of them were cringeworthy. I would have to say the opening promo of the entire show when you had Kevin Owens in the dark, pretty much talking about Goldberg, and he was speaking truth about a Goldberg match, which was one thing that I really do believe that WWE is looking at Twitter, they're looking at their social media, and they're literally listening to all the fans or smarts or whatever that have seen multiple Goldberg matches and have actually seen some consistency through all of them. We all know that Goldberg cannot go past 2 minutes, and he actually stated that so much not the fact that he can't go beyond 2 minutes, but that he talked about a Goldberg match. And I really do believe that WWE is paying attention to social media because that's the one thing that Kevin Owens was talking about in his promo, which is entirely true. And I love the part that they had nobody rush out, nobody interrupt Kevin. Kevin had his moment to talk about what was going on. And the thing is that what made it even better is that he didn't talk about Chris Jericho, which made it even more interesting. Now, I will also say that the match with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens was interesting for me because of consistency, which was what every other storyline was lacking. There was a lot of consistency with that match because you had Samoa Joe come out and beat the ever loving crap out of Sami Zayn, and of course, they're going to start a feud together, which is great. But we know that both Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens are both aligning themselves with Triple H. So that is why I like that match the most, even though that match was short and it didn't have as much fire as it did. And it was mostly because of the fact that Sami Zayn was attacked by Samoa Joe. But I like that because of the consistency of the beginning, and also that match was towards the middle, but they still remain consistent with the storyline. Now, when it comes to the women's division, that was the weakest of them all. The entire, I don't know what it was. The segment when Bayley came out to address Charlotte was weak. It really was. I'm sorry. The fact that Bayley was considering on giving up her championship because Stephanie McMahon told her to was weak. Now, for those that actually remember Bayley from NXT, Bayley may have been a sweetheart, but she was more meek than weak. She knew when to fight. She had a lot of heart behind her, and she actually was do love Macho Man, and I mean, I can't think of the third one, but she literally, and the Ultimate Warrior combined, because she fought like the Ultimate Warrior. She had a little bit of sass like the Macho Man, and she definitely was kind-hearted like Dude Love, but they were all aggressive performers, and she showed that in NXT. But for some strange reason, they have literally diminished her character to a weak little girl. And Stephanie McMahon is getting on my nerves because she can't really decide if she wants to be a face or a heel. But the thing is that she ruins every single heartwarming moment that these performers are supposed to have. This is Bayley's first championship. Her dad was in the audience, even though we didn't really see her dad on screen, which was a little weird. Because usually they'll be front row and center. And they would actually pan the camera to him, but he wasn't there, which was weird. And then Stephanie kept talking about the fact that you had everybody helping you, and then you didn't really win the championship legit. I'm like, no, hun. She beat Charlotte multiple times to get that title match. And honestly, if you think about it, there's really no controversy with that match at all. And here's why. You had Dana Brooke come out, and Dana Brooke wasn't even mentioned, which was just as bad because she showed up during the match between Sasha and Charlotte, but she wasn't mentioned at all. So, okay, so Charlotte is all a victim, but they don't even mention the fact that Dana Brooke came out. And they mentioned the fact that Sasha Banks came out and literally hit Charlotte in the boob, causing her to lose the title, which is stupid. The one thing that bugs me about Stephanie is that Stephanie kind of forgets what happens the week before, and she tries to make a really strong heel promo, but she forgets about consistency. So I'm like, woman, it doesn't even make any sense for you to even be out there. And you should have Bayley have her moment. And if you really want to have some heat, have Charlotte come out there, because honestly, it should have just been Charlotte and Bayley. Sasha wasn't even needed. She wasn't. And I know they were trying to start the feud up between her and Stephanie McMahon, which is something that I'm really don't want happening, but let's be honest. WrestleMania 33 is going to be crap. It's going to be garbage. It's the next, and it breaks my heart to say it because that was my first WrestleMania ever. It's the next WrestleMania 27, y'all. That's what it is. It's WrestleMania 27 just in this, well, I'm not going to say generation, but it's just for this year. It's WrestleMania 27. Let's just be honest. It is. But other than that, most of the matches I didn't really agree with. Enzo and Cass, good night am I annoyed with them. Like, Big Cass, great. He's a great performer. Enzo is starting to annoy me. He really, really is. I can't get behind a guy that literally tried to take a man's wife. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. And Enzo, sure, his catchphrases are pretty catchy. His intro is a long paragraph that everybody can remember. I will agree with that. But I don't agree with the number one contenders for the tag titles. I don't. I'd rather see Cesaro and Sheamus go up against the club. And I'm calling them the club. I'm not calling them Gallows and Anderson. I'm calling them the freaking club. I'd rather have them go up against the Bullet Club because that will be an amazing match. We both know that these guys have not only European style type of European style fighting. These guys are amazing performers in the ring. And we know what Gallows and Anderson can do at New Japan when they were in the Bullet Club. Those guys were beasts. Like, straight up beasts. So having them go up against Cesaro and Sheamus made more sense than Enzo and Cass. Because let's be honest, do you really think that Enzo can go toe-to-toe with the freaking club? No! He might have a concussion again. Seriously. Cass, sure. Big Cass, maybe. Sure. But not Enzo. Not freaking Enzo. No. I'm sorry. No. But we got them as our number one contenders, which makes no sense. And then moving on to another cringeworthy moment of the entire night, definitely was the New Day. We end up finding out that the New Day is going to be the next host of WrestleMania 33, which is makes a lot of people scratch their heads and makes a lot of people rejoice because that means they're not going to be in a match. But then that also means they're going to be all over the place with shenanigans and all over everywhere. And as long as they don't interfere in a match like what The Rock did at WrestleMania 27 because he couldn't keep his face out of a match. But other than that, they're going to be the host of WrestleMania 33 for some reason. But they kept talking about, oh gosh, their ingredients for their ice cream. Oh, was cringeworthy. I even put a tweet on Twitter. I tweeted this out to Elena. I felt bad for anybody making or tasting that ice cream. Yuck. Booty juice. Will they stop with the booty juice? If anybody knows a booty and has a booty, we know that booties are nasty. There's nothing, it's disgusting. The idea of booty juice, knowing what comes out of a booty is not appealing. Okay? Hearing the ingredients was just off and weird. But I will admit this. I literally was like, oh, when Kofi Kingston just said the whole Russian thing, called the Russians out. Like, seriously, I was like, whoa, that's bold. That's seriously bold. And we all know that the New Day don't follow a script. So seeing how that he was literally off the cuff with that, he had to be off the cuff with that. Seriously. Oh, man. That was like, I was like, whoa. I would have to say that really did kind of drop my jaw a little bit when Kofi Kingston said that, for real. And then the fact that Lana actually had an iPad. And they ripped an iPad in half. Wow, that shows how weak their iPad is and how fragile it is. And wow, yeah, I wasn't expecting that. But other than that, that was pretty much the shocker for me. The match itself, meh. I don't really necessarily care. Rusev's push is dead. It's dead in the water. It's not going to go forward. It's messed up because the guy is a dynamo. He's a freaking beast. And unfortunately, he is not promoted as one. Lana will always be slut shamed for the rest of her life. But they didn't do that tonight. And I'm happy that they didn't, because they every chance they get, they slut shame her. But the thing is, Jinder Mahal is starting to become a thing to where that he's not even noticed anymore. It's sad. Those are two amazing performers. The New Day has had their run. They need to do something different with them or split them up. But the fact is, we know that the WWE is going to milk that horse until that milk that cow more than likely. Can't really milk a horse. Well, you can milk a horse. I don't know. Ugh. Anyway, the thing is that the WWE is going to milk that cow until that cow's teat runs dry. And that's exactly what they're doing at this point. And that is what's bugging the crap out of me. They're doing everything they can to get merch out of the New Day, because the New Day probably has a lot of merch and their merch is popular. But good grief, I'm tired of it, man. It's time for something different. But they're going to milk that cow until the teat runs dry. That's exactly what they're going to do. So we are stuck with the New Day being a group for a while. But it's a given that the WWE doesn't know what to do with them performance-wise. That is why they're putting them in random segments or random matches of the night. But they really do know that they are merch makers and they are merch sellers. So that is why they're just putting everything out there. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a New Day ice cream. But since they said that booty juice was in it, I don't think I want to buy it. I hope they change their mind about that whole thing. But what's done is done. It's already there. Whatever. But anyway, y'all, let's talk about the main event of the night. The Battle of the Behemoths. Something that they have been literally talking about the entire night. And I'm not going to say. I'm not going to lie. This match was not that bad. It wasn't that bad. But Braun Strowman can really botch up an ending. Like, seriously. He got up like nothing happened. He no-sold most of the moves that the Big Show did to him. The KO punch was something that will always knock you out. And he got up from there like it was nothing. Like, seriously. And when the Big Show tried to do I guess not a frog splash. When the Big Show tried to jump off the top rope and try to land on Braun Strowman got up like it was nothing. But the thing was that he completely missed Big Show, grazed his stomach all the way up, and just completely missed his mark. Seriously. Braun Strowman missed his mark at least 3 times towards the ending. It was great, and I actually actually seeing from the middle to the end, let's be honest, I didn't care much for the beginning because I was getting exhausted. But seeing how it was starting to build up, it wasn't bad. But the ending was messed up. It was. I'm sorry. Braun Strowman should have lost. He should have lost, in my humble opinion, because the thing is, they made such a big deal about the ring being reinforced because these guys were 2 big giant behemoths. But you didn't see any super moves coming off the top rope with these 2. I would have loved to see a lot more carnage with these 2, because they've done nothing but promote of how big these guys are and how they can take them down and how they can, like, literally break the ring. But we didn't see much of that, like, at all. And yeah, sure, I gleaned through the beginning because I saw it just now. But even gleaning through it, it's still, all the hype behind them being giants was just ridiculously pointless. If that's a way of saying it, it was just pointless to even mention that, in my opinion. But other than that, the wrong person, in my opinion, won. It should have been Big Show. And sure, Roman Reigns would have came out, looked down, and been like, yeah, I'm going to get you WrestleMania. Either or, Roman Reigns was going to come out, man. He was going to come out. He got super punched. He got body slammed. Super punched Braun Strowman, and then he got body slammed towards the end. But honestly, y'all, Big Show should have knocked him out with that KO punch, and it should have been over and done with that. And for everybody that was expecting Shaq to come out, thank God he did not. But let's put it this way. Shaq would not make his appearance unless the show is bigger and larger than he is. Seriously, if it was a Big 4 pay-per-view and he was promoting this, he'll show up. If it's like a Rumble, he showed up. But if it comes to an actual Raw, no, he ain't gonna show up. He wants to pay out. That's all he wants. And as you can see, I don't like Shaq. I can't stand the dude. So that's why I'm happy he didn't come out. And as for The Rock talking about he was going to be on Raw, he was going to be behind the scenes of Raw to film his documentary. He was not going to show his face on the screen. We saw no celebrities that night. They were talking about, oh, we're in the land of celebrities. Not one celebrity was shown on screen that night. Not one. Seriously. They're supposed to be building up to WrestleMania. They're supposed to be building up to Fastlane. And good grief, have they not done a good job with that? They tried, in my opinion. The only thing that built up was a segment the interview that they had with Brock Lesnar, which was the most awkward of awkward interviews I have ever seen. You had Brock Lesnar literally turning his back to Paul Heyman the entire time that Paul Heyman was talking. He was staring directly in the camera. That was the most awkward moment I have ever encountered in my entire life because he looked like a complete idiot. It wasn't intimidating at all. It looked uncomfortable and stupid. Mostly it was uncomfortable. It was kind of uncomfortable and awkward for me because I was just staring at his face the entire time. Even though he's nice to look at, it was weird. It was the weirdest, most awkward moment I have ever seen ever. And it wasn't intimidating at all. It looked stupid. And I don't even know what to say about this. But y'all, my overall thoughts of the show was this. This show was okay, but it was not great by any means. The Kevin Owens segment was indeed amazing. I'm not going to lie. It absolutely captured the mood and the feel of how Kevin Owens was feeling and what he was actually thinking. I love the match that he had with Sami Zayn with Samoa Joe's interference because it was consistent with the beginning of the entire show. The women's segment was trash, and that's sad because that is Bayley's first championship win, which we know she's going to possibly lose at Fastlane. Then you had the whole booty juice, the whole ice cream segment of stealing on an iPad, which was stupid and took away from the entire match. And then you just had the inconsistency of Stephanie McMahon in the women's match, and then you had a really decent main event that I thought was going to be garbage, but had a botched up ending that literally took you out of the entire match, and the wrong guy won. That's just my humble opinion. But other than that, y'all, it really wasn't all that good. But I want to hear your thoughts. I'm going to probably leave maybe a vote thing above so to see whether or not y'all liked it or not. But other than that, y'all, let me know how you feel about this Raw in the comment section below. I'm done. I've talked far too much about this show. Peace out.